In the land of Silverbrook, the stars didn't just shine, they watched. They had eyes, memories, and a cruel sense of destiny. People said Silverbrook was beautiful, but the truth was, it was haunted, not by ghosts, but by love stories that never ended right. Every few decades, two souls would meet, fall hopelessly in love, and destroy everything around them. No one knew why. No one remembered who started it, but the curse always found new lovers. 17-year-old Elara Wynter wasn't the kind of girl people noticed twice. She liked quiet mornings, tea with honey, and drawing faces she'd never met. Her room was filled with sketches, a boy with golden eyes, always standing in the rain. The strange part? She had never seen him before, but she dreamed of him almost every night. Her grandmother called it a memory from another life. Silverbrook was full of old talk like that, of rebirth, old magic and bloodlines that carried secrets. But Elara didn't believe in magic, not really. She believed in art, in feelings, and in how sometimes your heart remembered things your mind didn't. Still, she couldn't explain why her sketches sometimes shimmered faintly in moonlight, or why she could feel other people's emotions like ripples in her chest. She'd always been different. And she hated it. The night Aiden Blackwell arrived, the rain wouldn't stop. The whole town lost power. The river overflowed, and lightning split a tree right outside Elara's window, the same tree her father had planted before he died. When she looked outside, she saw him, a boy standing alone in the rain, hands in his pockets, eyes glowing gold beneath the storm. The same boy from her drawings. She thought she was dreaming, but the next day, when the new student walked into her classroom and introduced himself as Aiden Blackwell, she dropped her pencil. He smiled faintly, like he already knew her. Their first touch wasn't meant to happen. It was in the hallway. Books fell, hands brushed, and for a second, everything stopped. Literally. The ticking clock froze mid-sound. Raindrops hung in the air like glass beads, and a glowing mark flickered faintly on both their wrists, a curved pattern, like two moons facing each other. Then, everything snapped back to normal. Elara stumbled back, eyes wide. Aiden's expression changed, surprise, then fear. He muttered something she couldn't hear and walked away. That night, her wrist burned like fire. The mark was still there. Aiden was strange. He didn't talk much, didn't stay out in sunlight for long, and every time he was near, the air felt charged, like the moment before a storm. But something about him drew her in. They started sitting together in art class. He'd watch her draw, sometimes quietly finishing her sentences as if he'd known her all his life. And slowly, she stopped feeling afraid of being different. He told her things no one else knew, about how he could hear whispers in the wind, about the nightmares that chased him, about how sometimes he saw flashes of a girl crying under a blood-red moon. He didn't tell her that she was the same girl in his dreams, because she was that girl. Silverbrook had two ancient families, the Wynters and the Blackwells. Once allies, now cursed enemies centuries ago, a love between a Wynter and a Blackwell ended in betrayal. The girl died protecting him. The boy destroyed the town in grief. Before his death, he cursed the stars themselves, swearing that their souls would keep returning until they learned to love without destruction. And so, every few generations, two souls, one Wynter, one Blackwell, would find each other again. The same story, the same heartbreak, different faces. Elara and Aiden were the newest chapter. The more they tried to stay apart, the closer they got. Their connection wasn't normal. Their emotions bled into each other. When she laughed, he smiled without knowing why. When he cried, her heart ached like it was breaking in two. They met in secret, by the lake at night, under the moon that seemed to pulse when they were near each other. He'd say, "I feel like I've lost you before," she'd whisper. "Then maybe this time." We don't let go, but fate had other plans. Aiden's mother, the last enchantress of the Blackwells, discovered their bond. She told him the truth, that his purpose in Silverbrook wasn't love. It was vengeance. He was sent to end the Wynter bloodline forever. Aiden refused, but the magic that bound his family was cruel. It began consuming him, shadows leaking from his skin, his eyes turning gold like molten fire. Elara saw it happen one night, his body trembling, his shadow moving on its own. He begged her to stay away, but she couldn't. She held him, even when the darkness burned her skin. That was when she learned what real love meant, choosing someone even when it hurts. The curse started feeding on their love. Every moment they were together made the storm grow stronger. The town began to flood again. Mirrors cracked. Animals ran from the forest. Her grandmother finally told her everything. The curse only ends when one heart stops beating. Love is the key, but also the price. Elara didn't tell Aiden she couldn't. Instead, she tried to save him, studying her family's old spells, searching for a way to break the cycle. But Aiden's mother struck first. She unleashed the eclipse ritual, merging light and shadow to erase the Wynters once and for all. Aiden was caught in the center of it. The night of the eclipse, the sky burned red. The stars vanished. The lake froze. Elara ran through the storm, the wind screaming in her ears, the mark on her wrist glowing like fire. She found Aiden kneeling in the ruins of the old chapel, shadows twisting around him like snakes. His mother's voice echoed through the storm, "If you love her, you'll destroy her." That's the curse. Elara stepped into the circle, then let love destroy me too. She touched his face and the light flared so bright it split the sky. The storm broke, the shadows screamed, and when the world went quiet, Aiden was gone. Just gone. Silverbrook moved on, or at least it tried to. The storm had ended that night, and everyone believed Aiden Blackwell was gone, lost to the curse, swallowed by the lake that had witnessed centuries of heartbreak. But Elara never left. She rebuilt her life slowly, piece by piece, painting what her heart remembered: the shimmer of the lake at dawn, the whisper of the forest, and always, always the boy with golden eyes. Years passed. Her art studio became a little sanctuary by the water, its walls filled with color and memory, and sometimes, when the sky turned silver and the air hummed with that old magic, she'd feel warmth pulse through her wrist, as if the mark was still alive. She thought it was just memory. But it wasn't, because beneath the very lake where the curse began, the ancient magic of Silverbrook had been shifting, not destroying, but healing. The curse was breaking slowly, not through power, but through time. Through her love that refused to fade. One early morning, as dawn spread its first light across the lake, Elara went outside to paint. The air felt strange, lighter, alive. Mist rolled across the surface, and through it, a figure appeared, barefoot, soaked in gold light, eyes that burned with both sorrow and recognition. Aiden, not as a ghost, not as a memory, but alive. The lake hadn't taken him. It had kept him, preserved him until the curse ran its course. Elara froze, the paintbrush falling from her hand. Her lips trembled. Aiden? He smiled softly, the same smile she had painted 100 times. "I told you I'd find you again," she ran to him, the mark on her wrist flaring bright gold. When they touched, the air shimmered, not violently, but gently, as if Silverbrook itself sighed in relief. The curse was finally done, not broken by magic, but by love that refused to die even when time tried to erase it. That morning, the people of Silverbrook saw the lake glowing gold for the first time in centuries. The old legends were rewritten, not as tallies of tragedy, but of love that healed. Elara and Aiden stayed in Silverbrook. They grew old together by the same lake where everything began. She painted. He restored the old town. And when they laughed, it felt like the stars themselves were listening, because in Silverbrook, love didn't just return, it endured.